As you saw in his testimonial, we did have hundreds of applicants, and I can't believe anyone turned him down. And so when I saw that, it was like, okay, what's this about? Right. And I'm
Right.
like, whoa, no one's done that before. And it was just like, man, he rose above all of those resumes.
So he literally made you say, wow. He wowed you.
He sure did. I shared it with a lot of people when I saw it. I was like, look at this guy who's interviewing here.
We call it the Trojan Horse because when Clay sends that video to you or to the recruiter or the hiring manager, he wows you.
Mhm.
It's something you haven't seen before. It's
Right.
creative. And you're like, oh my gosh, wow. And so what did you do? You forwarded it.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
I
he
fell
gets
for the Trojan horse. I
You
guess.
fell for the Trojan
I
Horse.
didn't know that. So.
And then from there, he gets to see the tracking. And so on average, these videos get played 15 times, replays, because it's getting forwarded around the company.
Welcome back to another episode of the Who You Know Show podcast, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, relationships, and life. My name is Trevor Houston, and on this show, you'll learn the strategy, grit, and mindset it takes to overcome obstacles so you can level up in your career, recover your cash flow, and live the life of purpose that God intended for you. Don't forget to look at the mic drop moments time-stamped in the show notes below. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure to pay it forward, subscribe, and leave an honest review so we can improve. Thanks for listening. My name is Trevor Houston, and please enjoy this episode of the Who You Know Show.
Skip is the CEO of Spacee, which is one of the leading technology companies in the augmented reality sector. Spacee's technology can turn 2- or 3-dimensional surfaces into a touchscreen using only light. For example, Spacee turned the hood of a Mercedes-Benz into a touchscreen showing the inner workings of the engine, pricing, and video clips. So we're super excited to have you here with us, Skip. That's awesome.
We get to have a lot of fun at Spacee.
So normally what we teach in our summit is to send in like a thank you to say, hey, appreciate your time. And I learned a lot about the company culture and, basically a thank you email with a video in it. But I'm curious, what was your perception of that video? Because we get a lot of people, when we teach them the strategy, they start thinking like negatively, like what is the other person going to think on the other side? So I'm curious, what was your thought? What was your view?
Yeah, well, as you saw in his testimonial, we did have hundreds of applicants, and I can't believe anyone turned him down. And so when I saw that, it was neat. It was like, okay, what's this about? Right. And then I watched him do a demonstration to show his technology acumen. And I'm like, whoa, no one's done that before.
So Clay took it a step above and beyond, and he sent in basically like a how-to. He was showing his skill set. He was, because it's technology, and he was showing.
But it also matched what we do and what we need. And he did some research and figured out what we would probably care about.
Right.
And it was just like, man, he rose above all of those resumes.
So he literally made you say, wow. He wowed you.
He sure did. I shared it with a lot of people when I saw it. I was like, look at this guy who's interviewing here.
That's what happened.
So you shared it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is why we call this the Trojan Horse. We call it the Trojan Horse because when Clay sends that video to you or to the recruiter or the hiring manager, he wows you. It's something you haven't seen before. It's creative. And you're like, oh my gosh, wow. And so what did you do? You forwarded it.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
I fell for the Trojan horse. I guess.
You fell for the Trojan
Horse.
Wow.
I know that. So.
And then from there, he gets to see the tracking. And so on average, these videos get played 15 times, replays, because it's getting forwarded around the company.
All around the company.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's more to it than just the video, right? I mean, we care so much about aptitude, and we really care about getting the right cultural fit and all of that. But even the way he just presented himself on the video.
He was good.
Yeah. And the thank yous and the follow-ups and all of that is, I would agree, is just as critical, right?
Plays right into what you guys do for a living.
Yeah, it sure does. Sure does.
So I got a quick question, because obviously Clay is not a 20-year-old, right? And we get a lot of folks who come through the Career Transition Network, and unfortunately, they're a little later in their career, right? They're a little more tenured, a little more senior. We know age bias is real. So the question is how did that put him, in your view, using that technology, interacting or engaging with you in that way?
So none of that really becomes a factor when you see something special, right? And I would also like to say, we really try not to be biased on there, right? We don't want that. We want diversity. We want lots of different opinions and lots of ways to do
Right.
things. But I would argue, even if that existed and you show me something special and something that's going to be a fit, and you're going to solve my problems, which is really why we're hiring people, is to grow and solve problems. I don't care how old you are, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
You're going to add value. I can see it.
The hundreds of applicants that you got, I'm sure there were probably plenty of
several of smart people.
millennials. I mean, all ages. And so I would think that certainly made them stand out to you.
We are an ultra high tech company. We are a computer vision company. So computer vision is a subset of artificial intelligence, right? And so we solve problems and make products for some of the largest companies in the world. We have a Dallas entity, a UK entity, soon to have an Australian and Canadian. We're growing, right? But what we really do, we have two main branches. One is what we call Spacee Sense, where we project touch screens onto the 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional world. So the car is one example, turning your glass into a touchscreen without powering your glass. So basically making unbreakable touchscreens. Now,
love that. That's so cool.
But now, and this is retailers are our primary market, right? So now nobody wants to touch anything because COVID's here. So we have the ability to hover over virtual or physical objects to learn more about them. So you don't have to touch anything. It's kind of like Minority Report on steroids. And then our second branch is we make small supply chain robots. Little invisible robots is what we call them. They live on a price channel and they basically do out of stock detection and planogram detection and all sorts of other several billion-dollar problems that our customers have. So everybody here has probably ordered food online and had to go pick it up and had a problem with your order, right? They don't have something or they have to upgrade you for free. And we are unfortunately solving that for you guys. So the retailer's not going to lose so much money in having to make those fixes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How are you going to fix that problem?
So if we know what's on the shelf in real time, you can't sell it to somebody if it's not there.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense.
Or you need to stock it.
That makes sense.
A lot of
inventory.
A lot of problems we solve there.
That's awesome. You also said that you're still hiring. You got some other roles. Is there anything specifically that you want to plug or?
Engineers right now. We need engineers. We are scaling and growing around the world. So,
what type of engineers?
Full stack coders, front end coders, embedded systems, and mechanical things like that.
What about QA folks? Do you guys
we have one more QA position to hire for.
Do you guys do a good job of getting all your positions on your website?
We have a VP of HR that works for us right now who he mines LinkedIn and finds us the best people.
Did y'all hear that? I wish I had another mic. What did he say? So.
That's key. I mean, that just points out to the fact that you have to be on. I mean, that's where they're sourcing, right? That's where they're sourcing candidates.
Absolutely.
What other types of positions? I mean, I'm sure you have business operations, sales, and business development.
So ops is going to grow heavily. Engineers is our heaviest focus because we're a tech company. And sales will be growing too, and account managers will be growing as well.
So you guys heard it here. All those roles, Spacee, y'all need to go connect with the website, connect with us, connect with Skip.
Can I say careers@spacee.com?
There you go.
See that? Right.
Yep. And look it up. It's Spacee, the letter E, right? Just like it's your
2 E's.
2 E's, guys. It's 2 E's. Yeah.
Yep. Love it. Skip, thank you so much for coming and for talking about the story and for hiring that guy. Clay, he's a great guy. He is a rock star.
Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.